Ready? And action.
So remember last time I was answering the question, how did I get started on cooking a different thing every day for decades? And I mentioned a sweet friend that had bought me my first Cooking Light compilation. So I want to introduce you to my bestie right here. This is Tanya. I call her Tani, but her name's Tanya. And this is the actual
The pink one.
this is the actual book that she bought me.
I have this too.
And
Because the food was so good, I had to get one too.
yes, so she has a lot of these, but if you can see, it's kind of tattered because it's been used a lot. And like I said, it's got highlights and it's got ratings and it's got little notes, and my kids have really enjoyed this. So just have a question for you.
Yeah.
What made you want to buy this in the first place?
Okay, so when you ask me that, I have absolutely no idea, and I'm old, so I forget all the time. I don't know. Probably because it was something, you had the magazines maybe, and I decided that all that paper and whatnot, it's so much easier. I knew they made these. I looked for it, and so I just got it for you.
Okay, well, you know, you changed my life and my kids' lives, and now a lot of viewers out there are being inspired to cook different things every day with whatever cookbook they have. And so I want to backtrack and explain how we met. How about that?
Dear.
So, wow, we met back in 1990, and I was living in an apartment, and it was one of those kind of apartments that there's 4 units that share a big common patio. And Tani had the apartment across from me, and so our sliders would kind of face each other. And I had gone through a series of miscarriages right before I moved there, and I was so desperate to get pregnant again. And so I was taking the little pregnancy tests regularly and couldn't tell if it was really turning pink or blue or whatever. And so the manager told me that this gal who lived across from me was a nurse, and she worked nights, and I would see her there when she would get up, having her coffee in the middle of the day, getting like in the evening when I was already home from work. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to be bold and go knock on her door and ask her to look at this pregnancy test to see if it's positive. And I was just wishful thinking that it would be. Anyway, so do you want to comment on that?
And she comes in with this stick over the coffee. Is this positive? And I took it and I looked at it and I thought, over my coffee? So I looked at it, and my question to her was, because I didn't know her history, have you been pregnant recently, was my question. And she said yes, because the stick wasn't positive and it wasn't negative. The part that she left out is, I'm an ex-NICU nurse, so L&D, deliveries, babies, that's kind of all in my field, but not pee sticks. But anyway, it wasn't positive, it wasn't negative. And she said, yes, I've been pregnant recently. And I said, this is probably slightly positive, not completely, because the hormones don't shift for 3 or 4 months. So it's still reading like the pregnancy, unfortunately, that she had lost. So
I've been through it, people. It's been a rough road. I don't think I was pregnant at that time.
No.
I later did go on to become pregnant and have a child. But anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is that relationships are important, and you never know when you're going to form that relationship that's going to change your life, or whose life you're going to be able to change. I think it works both ways, right?
Right.
And so 30 plus years later, here we are. We've been through a lot of ups and downs and turns, and laughing and crying and busy and all kinds of things. It's funny we haven't aged though. Look at us. Anyway,
It
so
doesn't show it at all.
this is my best friend, and I want to also say that we've done a lot of cooking together.
Yes, we have. I'm her sous chef.
Well, no. She's actually a lot more experienced. She's more of a gourmet cook than I am. I'm still learning. She's bought me a lot of kitchen toys for different holidays. And we both love toys in the kitchen. And she's really brought me up to speed, because I'd be using some like really dull carrot peeler or whatever, and she'd be like, okay, no, that's out. She'd show up the next time with a new one, right? Or a cheese grater, or like, here, she says, I don't need this blender anymore. I bought a new one. I'm gonna give you mine, when she really just bought me the new blender. She's just a crazy woman. Anyway, so she mentioned it a little bit earlier that you also have a lot of the same cookbooks that I have.
I do.
Because, we cook together, and if she likes it, then she'll buy the cookbook herself. So I wanted to give you a little glimpse of some of the cookbooks that I have. And so, remember, this is the one that started it all, but I even went back and bought some of the older versions. So if you look, it starts at like 1990 and goes all the way up to like 2016. And then I have this Cooking Light Through the Seasons. And then I think a few of these came from you too. Mm-hmm. These are compilations of Cooks Illustrated, which is another wonderful cooking magazine. And then I have the Weight Watchers One Pot. And we're not done yet. Let's go over here. I also have some of the traditional cookbooks, like The Joy of Cooking and the Pillsbury Cookbook, Better Homes. And then there's all kinds of new trends that come up with nutrition and dietitians and studies and science. So I also have the Wheat Belly cookbooks, the Eat Right for Your Blood Type, certain fasts. I've got the paleo. I've got some quick fix it and forget it for the crock pot. You always need that. Then I've got a whole dessert thing with cookies and desserts. I've got a few vegan and vegetarian cookbooks. And then one of my favorite restaurants, True Food Kitchen, which is very healthy, seasonal cooking. Gluten-free, I enjoy working with gluten-free recipes. And then I told you on another episode that I've got this new one, Superfood. This is my own binder, where if I run across something on the internet or in a magazine and I really like it, I cut it out, and I have this sectioned off in different sections with sheet protectors. And I love recipes, and I know there's so much on the internet, but I really like to have a cookbook in my possession, in my hand. I like to be able to put it in my cookbook stand. I like to be able to make notes for next time, if there's ever a next time, right? Put the little rating on. And it is my legacy, to be honest, because someday when I'm not here, we're not here, I have a daughter, and I'm going to be passing all of this on to her. And so I encourage you folks to do the same thing. It's your own way of leaving a legacy, whether it is your cookbooks or your hobby or something that you enjoyed. People will remember you by what you leave behind, and so this is part of my legacy. So anyway, last thoughts before we wrap up for today?
True Food. That happens to be one of our favorite restaurants, by the way. Not just, and that's why I have this cookbook also, and I have made several things out of here. So when she's talking about what you do and how you live, a lot of times where you eat, you can bring home with you. And my big thing about that is, I paid how much for this and I can't have seconds? Oh no, where's the cookbook so I can make double portions and I can have some more.
So I hope this was fun for you. I know it was fun for me. And thank you, Tani, for being here today. See you next time with Linal.
I hate cameras. She knows that too. I hate
She does.